Good morning. I am Dr. Marilyn Carroll, and this conversation begins with a simple belief: AI should strengthen human judgment, not replace it. The future of education will not be shaped by the tools alone. It will be shaped by the people who know how to interpret, question, verify, and decide. In this part of the AI Truth and Consequences for Education series, I want us to move beyond the question of whether AI can produce an answer. The deeper question is whether that answer makes educational sense, whether it fits the learner, whether it reflects the mission of the institution, and whether a qualified human being is prepared to stand behind the decision. AI informs, humans interpret, leaders decide. The truth is that AI is becoming a second opinion in education. It may be the second opinion behind a tutoring recommendation, a retention alert, a course design suggestion, a rubric draft, an advising note, or an administrative decision. That second opinion can be very helpful, but there is a difference between input and judgment. AI may identify a pattern, but a pattern does not explain a learner. AI may generate a recommendation, but a recommendation is not a professional decision. The Department of Education's AI report advances the idea of keeping humans in the loop. OECD has also emphasized the need to understand where AI replaces human tasks and where it complements human skill. That distinction matters. We should not ask whether AI can answer. We should ask who is qualified to judge the answer. The consequence is over reliance. NIST's generative AI profile discusses automation bias as excessive deference to automated systems. In education, that can show up quietly. A faculty member may accept an AI generated feedback draft without checking whether the comments fit the student's actual work. An advisor may trust a risk score without asking what data was missing. A leader may accept a summary of employee sentiment without understanding who was not represented. Over time, the concern becomes deeper than one wrong output. People can lose the habit of questioning, comparing, and interpreting. AI can make us faster, but speed is not the same as wisdom. The more consequential the decision, the more disciplined the human judgment must be. A helpful way to preserve judgment is to separate the signal from the decision. The first step is the AI output. That output is a signal. It may be useful, but it is not enough. The second step is evidence. What data, sources, or student work support the output? The third step is context. What does the professional know that the system does not know? The fourth step is ethics. What are the possible consequences? Who could be harmed? And what values are at stake? The fifth step is the decision. A human being or accountable office owns the decision and documents the reasoning. A responsible education decision should not jump from output to action. It should pass through evidence, context, ethics, and accountable ownership. Professional expertise is the context engine. AI can process information, but educators and leaders understand meaning. A system can summarize a student's submission, but it cannot understand the relationship between that assignment, the learner's confidence, the classroom climate, the student's prior progress, and the institution's promise to support learning. A system can compare patterns, but it does not carry professional ethics. It does not have a duty of care. It does not have a mission. It does not know the full learner story. It cannot weigh the relational cost of a decision. This is why the role of the educator does not disappear. It becomes more important. AI may produce an answer. Human expertise decides whether that answer belongs in the learning relationship. Judgment gets stronger with practice. That means we should not teach people to use AI only as a shortcut. We should teach them to use AI as a sparring partner, Ask it to challenge assumptions. Ask it to identify missing evidence. Ask it to give counter arguments. Then compare the output to human sources, course outcomes, institutional standards, and ethical obligations. One powerful prompt is: before I decide what evidence would contradict this recommendation and what human context might be missing. This type of practice does not make AI the thinker. It makes thinking more visible. It gives faculty, students, and leaders a structured way to critique, verify, and decide. The goal is not less thinking, the goal is better thinking. Leadership action is critical. Leaders cannot preserve judgment by simply telling people to use their judgment. They must design the conditions that require and protect it. First, declare AI's role. Is it an assistant, a draft generator, a signal, or a second opinion? It should never become hidden authority. Second, protect human authority. Name the person or office that owns consequential decisions. Third, require verification. When AI touches grading, advising, placement, discipline, hiring, or policy decisions, evidence checks should be required. Fourth, train for critique. Faculty, staff, and students should practice disagreeing with AI, documenting why they accepted or rejected an output, and knowing when to escalate. Responsible AI practice teaches people when to use AI, when to question AI, and when to say no. I want to close with this thought. Do not let AI make us faster at being less thoughtful. Speed can be useful, but speed without discernment can harm people. In education, decisions are never just administrative. They shape confidence, access, belonging, opportunity, and trust. AI can help us see patterns, it can help us draft, it can help us organize information. But the future of education is not artificial intelligence alone, it is human judgment made stronger. The question is no longer whether education will use AI. The question is whether we will govern it wisely. AI informs, humans interpret, leaders decide. These are the sources that support this talk. The U.S. Department of Education frames the importance of keeping humans in the loop as AI becomes part of teaching and learning. NIST provides a risk management framework for trustworthy AI and specifically addresses human AI configuration and automation bias in generative AI. UNESCO emphasizes a human centered approach, human agency, critical thinking, ethics, and competencies for students and teachers. OECD helps frame the question of where AI may replace certain tasks and where it should complement human skills. The goal is not to overwhelm leaders with sources. The goal is to connect the daily practice of education to a credible foundation for responsible AI use.